Whenever a shinobi takes on an S-rank mission, they do so knowing very well that they stand a chance of not being able to return from it. Currently in the Boruto era, Sasuke Uchiha's own mission to gather intel about a cure for an illness that's rapidly eating away at the health of Hokage Naruto, this mission has gotten a lot more complicated. The reason being is that Sasuke has immediate fears upon discovering that Sakura has followed him to the land where the Sage's Six Paths once lived. Those fears have now become very close to becoming a reality. In today's video, I'm going to dive deeper into Sasuke's S-rank mission to find a cure for Naruto's illness, which traces back to the Sage's Six Paths himself, and explain to you guys how Sasuke's wife Sakura compromised Sasuke's mission, making it potentially harder for him to complete it. The information comes to us from the Sasuke Restuden novel, the Uchiha Descendants and Heavenly Stardust. It's in this novel, which is set in the Boruto era, that Sasuke's infiltrated a prison in the Radaku country, the very same land that the Sage's Six Paths once lived in, and is urgently seeking out information that could help cure Naruto. It's while Sasuke's undercover that he meets an inmate who's named Gigi, and more than once their conversation turns to Sakura. Sasuke breaks cover more than once early on in this novel when he demands to know why Gigi and the other inmates think that Sakura isn't married, and is seen with a very faraway expression on his face afterwards. While on this mission, Sasuke has purposely avoided talking about his family with any of the inmates, while keeping his identifying features like his Rinnegan hidden by keeping it hidden behind his long bangs, and not activating his Sharingan with his other eye unless he's absolutely alone, and refraining from using chakra at all costs. Before I read the scene in question, I want to give my thanks to Organic Dinosaur for the information, because he's translated quite a few scenes from the Sasuke novel, which is selling extremely well in Japan and is already on its second reprint in under a week. Translating Japanese to English isn't an easy feat, and Organic Dinosaur does this often, does it a lot for our community, translating spoilers for the anime to the actual chapters when they come out. And it's here I'm gonna begin quoting. Gigi, please keep it a secret that Sakura's my wife. Sasuke warned Gigi as they exited the medical ward and walked through the long corridors. He had a piece of cloth wrapped around his wrist that Sakura had given to him. I understand if the information about her being a relative of a prisoner got leaked, that doctor wouldn't be able to stay here, right? But I would have never thought that of you, Sasuke. You were actually married? You could have mentioned something about it earlier. You probably wouldn't have heard about it. Personal topics come out, you know. They definitely do. Since he met with his cellmates every day face to face, they primarily circulated through ordinary topics. Of course, the topic of whether or not they had any lovers or marriage experience had come out several times, but since Sasuke was in a position where he was in the midst of an infiltration, he always avoided becoming deeply involved in these sorts of topics. Gigi, didn't you mention that you were currently engaged to your lover? Hearing Sasuke mention it, Gigi grinned broadly, seemingly delighted. Yep, for now she's working in the metropolis of the Radaku country. When I'm done serving my jail time, we're gonna get married. Sasuke lowered his gaze towards his feet. The plant-based, dyed carpet had been exposed by the illuminating moonlight that had poured through the huge window. It sparkled a whitish hue. Married couples should be together. For some reason, he kept running over those words that Gigi had said. Since Sasuke had frequently been outside the village on long-term missions, he didn't grasp the meaning of that phrase very much. Gigi, you think married couples ought to be together? Yep, that's right. He immediately replied, because that doctor wanted to be together with you. She expressly came here to get hired and work for a prison in such a remote place, didn't she? No, that's not what I meant. But the fact I tend to be away from home. What do you mean by tending to be away from home? How long were you away for? For lengthy amounts of time. There were periods where I didn't even return home once for several years. Are you serious? Gigi's tone of voice shifted dramatically. I mean, for several years? Because to your partner, they'd interpret that thing badly, and naturally things would be coming to an end. Wouldn't it reach a level where they wouldn't be able to complain about it? Why would you think that? Why wouldn't you think of it that way? Sasuke was dead serious, and his head tilted to the side in confusion. Gigi stared back at his face, equally dead serious and unyielding about his response. It's not as if I decided to do this unilaterally, since Sakura is needed locally in our hometown, and I was requested to conduct work outside of the country. We had no choice in the matter. That's all there is to it. We exchanged letters with one another. No, no, no. I mean, even if it's like that, even when you're not there, don't you think it'd be awful if she got involved with an unsavory type of lover like me? There's no chance of something like that in your country. You don't have rings and stuff like that, right? Gigi stared at Sasuke's face and kept earnestly making a concerned expression on his face. Married couples should always be together, you know. Sasuke really didn't understand the meaning of Gigi's words. Sakura's family, no matter where she was, he thought that aspect would never change. No matter how many kilometers they were separated by, he had never had this sort of discussion about things like not being a family. Even during the time he was harboring deep hatred towards Itachi, he was still his older brother. And as far as Sasuke was concerned, that aspect wouldn't change. So as far as Sasuke was concerned, Sakura was his partner who continues to live and function with them as a family. Even though they weren't connected by blood, and even if they weren't able to meet with each other every day, that aspect of her, it would never change. Despite thinking about it like that, for him to expressly put it into words and communicate that to Gigi was not in line with his nature, and it will be troublesome. Sasuke non-committedly replied with "I see" to throw in an interjection and feign that he was paying attention to him. Sasuke then changed the subject. End quote. Now, what I like about this scene is that it once again shows that Sasuke has confusion upon hearing how a normal marriage works and compares it with the shinobi marriage that he has with Sakura. He states he never considered the fact that Sakura might pick up another lover while he's away, out on missions, gone for several years at a time, and that being gone for such a long period of time might lead to Sakura wondering if their marriage was on stable ground. Gigi is in the belief that a married couple should be together every day, and at the very least, at the very minimum, together as often as possible. Gigi represents the civilian way of thinking, and it should be noted that while Konoha was going through all this change, Sasuke was still being a ninja, so Sasuke hasn't fully acclimated to a civilian lifestyle. For Sasuke, he never considered this, and for really good reason. Like he told Naruto during Naruto Gaiden, while leaving Sarada while she was still a 2-year-old toddler, he told Naruto that only he could research Kaguya's dimension, and he was indeed gone for many years, returning when Sarada was about to take her graduation exam, roughly a decade after he left his 2-year-old daughter at home at Sakura to take the mission that was requested of him by the 5 Kages. Sakura not only runs the Konoha Hospital, but also the medical clinics in Konoha and medical clinics in each of the 5 great nations, clinics that focus on the mental health of shinobi and civilians. However, Sasuke couldn't reveal all that information to Gigi, partly due to it being him out of character for somebody like Sasuke to be chatty, but most importantly, he was in the midst of an infiltration mission that he couldn't afford to fail because Naruto's life was at risk. The fact that while Sakura does help out on this mission and does pull a weight more than once when it counts the most, early on in the mission, she compromised Sasuke. Upon learning that she was at the prison, Sasuke immediately began worrying about Sakura's safety as well as the well-being of their daughter, who is now alone in Konoha without either of her parents. Now he's having to trust an inmate to not reveal that Sakura is actually his wife, and perhaps cause some success on his mission. But I want to know from you guys, who do you think was in the right here? But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.